There are hundreds, if not thousands, of different types of freshwater fish that we can put in aquariums. All different shapes, colors, and sizes. We thought it would be fun to put together our list of what we believe are the most popular fish in the hobby. Maybe you're setting up your first tank or your 21st and you want some ideas of what to put in there. Whatever your motivations are, here is our list of the top 10 most popular freshwater aquarium fish. If you like this kind of content, be sure to subscribe, and if you don't see your favorite fish on this list, be sure to put it in the comment section down below. Obviously, we're going to start this list with goldfish. What else would it be? Goldfish have been around forever, and for most fish keepers, they were the first fish they ever had. Their beauty and personality is undeniable, and they're super easy to keep, so they're a no-brainer for new fish keepers. Unfortunately, they're also a fish that we've talked about before as being one of the most mistreated fish in the hobby. Most new fish keepers don't realize how big these fish can get, and they end up putting them in an aquarium that's way too small. If you're gonna keep goldfish, do plenty of research about them before you buy them. Word of warning though, if you watch a video, read a blog or an article, and it says anything along the lines of, they'll only grow to the size of the tank, or you don't need a filter because they can survive anything, just close it out and find your information somewhere else. Goldfish need to be in a large, clean, and well-filtered aquarium just like any other fish. And let me tell you something, if you do it and you do it properly, this will be one of the most amazing fish you've ever kept. Just make sure you're doing the right thing for them, that's all. Now, this is me stepping off of my soapbox.
If you've been watching this channel over the last 6 months, then you know I've gone a little beta crazy. I have like 40 of them all over the house. These little fish have completely consumed my life for the same reason they do everyone else. They're absolutely gorgeous and have the sweetest little personalities you'll ever see. Unfortunately, they're like goldfish in that so many of them aren't cared for properly. People look at them as easy little fish that you don't even have to take care of. You just stick them in water and they look pretty. Well, again, just like goldfish, betas need to be kept in a clean aquarium with proper filtration and yes, a heater. But anyway, let me get off my soapbox and tell you why these fish are so awesome. Betas are available in tons of different colors and varieties. They're small, so you don't need to have a huge aquarium, and they're very easy to keep, which makes them great for beginner fish keepers. Keep them in a minimum of a 5-gallon tank. Don't put them in one of those teeny tiny aquariums that you see at the big box stores. I love the big box stores, but if I had the power to change one thing, it would be to get rid of those stupid little things. Oh, and glowfish too.
What can I say about guppies? This is as close to the perfect fish as we have in this hobby. Now, I know all the cichlid people and the monster fish people are going to make fun of me for saying that, but let me tell you why I feel that way. First of all, they're really small, so you can have them in anything from a 100-gallon tank in your living room to a 5-gallon tank in your office. They're super easy to keep and breed, and they're absolutely gorgeous. Seriously, monster fish people, tell me that a 100-gallon aquarium with 1,000 guppies swimming around in it wouldn't be something really cool to see. Another word I like to use to describe guppies is fun. They're fun little fish. They're crazy active all the time, they breed so fast you can't even keep track, and they're mesmerizing to look at. Maybe you're someone that's tried fish keeping before and it was super frustrating. You couldn't keep the fish alive and the tank was always dirty, but you're thinking about giving it another shot. Take my word for it, put a bunch of guppies in your tank once you have it set up. You'll love watching them, you'll have a bunch of beautiful fish in your tank, and they'll breed like crazy for you. That'll make you feel like absolutely the best fish keeper on earth.
So another popular fish are sharks, and we get calls all the time. People come to the store, they're looking for sharks. We don't sell any actual sharks, but we do have red-tailed sharks and rainbow sharks, and those are the two we're going to talk about today. They can be a little territorial, but they eat differently, and I think that's the big distinction. Is a red-tailed shark is a carnivore, wants a lot of meaty stuff, and the rainbow shark is opportunistic. It wants algae, it wants some protein as well. Now, when you see them in a store, they're going to be cute and cuddly because there's 40 of them in that tank and they're not aggressive. But when you take one home, all of a sudden he wants to rule that entire aquarium. And so, while very popular, they can be a nuisance. And so don't get two. People love to buy pairs. I'll take two of that, two of that, two of that. Not a good idea. Just get one. And our recommendation is one rainbow or red-tailed shark per 4 feet of aquarium length. So if you got a 55, you can have one. If you have a 30-gallon, you can still have one. Don't go much less than that because you're really cramping their style at that point. They can get 4 to 6 inches is what's listed, but 4 to 5 inches would be a real beefy shark. And but super popular, and they're always active, so great fish to own.
Plecos are a staple in the fish keeping hobby for their uniqueness and their ability to clean algae from unwanted areas in your tank. The thing is, a lot of new fish keepers, when they think of Plecos, they think of the common Plecostomus. But there's a whole world of Plecos that are very different from the common. These fish come in a huge variety of colors, shapes, and sizes, and they're incredibly unique. Some of my personal favorites would be the albino bristlenose and the gold nugget. The albino bristlenose looks like an alien swimming around in your tank, sucking on the glass, while the gold nugget is a black pleco with bright yellow polka dots all over its body. Neither of these plecos get very big, so they can be kept in smaller aquariums, but not too small. And they'll not only look cool, but like I said earlier, they'll also help you with algae control. Here I go stepping up on my soapbox again, but the common pleco is another fish that is grossly mistreated in this hobby. If you want one of these very unique little workers, do a little research before bringing one home. The common Plecostomus gets huge, so if you don't have at least a 6-foot aquarium, don't even think about getting one. Consider one of the smaller ones like the gold nugget or the bristlenose that we talked about earlier.
I seriously think that it should be mandatory. If you have a Planet community tank, you should definitely have neon or Cardinal Tetras. These are just amazing little fish that go well with pretty much any other fish. Well, as long as they can't eat them because they are pretty small. They stay super small, which is nice because you don't need to have a huge tank, and they're a schooling fish. Schooling fish are awesome to watch. I don't know, they're just kind of cute because they just kind of swim around together. Here's the thing. We put neons and cardinals together on the list because they're very similar, but yet they're also different. They're both little red and blue fish, and they look a lot alike, but if you look at them really closely, you can see the difference. Neons are blue on the top and front part of their lower body, with red on the back. Cardinals are blue on top and red all the way across the bottom. It's pretty easy to spot if you get a good enough look at them, which isn't always easy because they're small and always moving super fast. But anyways, this list is about the most popular fish, little red and blue fish that get along with everybody and school around together. How could they not be one of the most popular?
How many lists has this fish shown up on since we started this series? I guess that shows you just how popular they are. They're everywhere. It's pretty easy to see why angelfish are as popular as they are. They have a really cool arrowhead shape with long flowing fins that you can easily recognize from across the room. Angelfish are relatively easy to keep because they can tolerate a wide range of water parameters. But if you want the absolute best out of your angels, keep them in a minimum of a 55-gallon tank. Keep the water clean and feed them a good quality tropical flake like the Community Crave or Krill Flake from Extreme. One of my favorite things about angelfish is they're a pretty easy fish to breed as long as you take a few things into consideration. First is they can get super aggressive when they pair off and want to spawn, so my suggestion would be if you find a breeding pair, put the pair in a tank by themselves. Second is they breed a lot, so you'll need to be prepared to house the fry somewhere so you can raise them up. Breeding fish is a great way to level up this hobby, and angels are certainly a great fish to start with because they're pretty simple to breed and you'll have no problem selling the fry. This, along with their amazing look, is why angels are as popular as they are.
John just talked about angels and how the coolest thing is how they're really easy to breed. Well, I can tell you this, they're not as easy to breed as mollies. Mollies are an amazing little live bear that, just like guppies, will reproduce non-stop, and you really don't have to do anything for that to happen. With angels, you need to set up a breeding tank for the pair, and you also have to have another tank to raise the fry. It can be a lot of work. With mollies, you just put them in water and let nature take its course. The parents won't eat their own fry, so every once in a while you'll look in the tank and say, "Oh, there's a baby swimming around in there." Mollies are another great beginner fish because they're very tolerant of the mistakes that new fish keepers tend to make. They're not bulletproof, but pretty daggone close. You can find mollies in a bunch of different colors, so you can get some nice variety in there and have all kinds of fun.
Do you want a fish that's practically indestructible, super active, and will give you a tank that you can just sit there and watch for hours? Well, if your answer is yes, check out Danios. This is another fish that can be described as being close to the perfect fish. They're really nice looking and available in several shapes, sizes, and colors, and not terribly hard to breed. Danios aren't known for being aggressive towards other fish, but there is one thing to consider about them when it comes to having them with other fish in the tank. They are maniacs, swimming 100 miles an hour non-stop. This is awesome for the fish keeper because it gives us something to be entertained by, but this can be a huge source of stress for some other fish. We had a bunch of pearl Danios with some goldfish because they're both cool water fish, and let me tell you something, the goldfish were not happy. Goldfish are pretty laid back and mellow, and Danios are the exact opposite. We removed the Danios and put them with other active fish, and the goldfish are much happier now. I'm not saying this to scare you. Danios are an absolutely amazing fish. We've got tons of them. I'm just giving you something to think about.
Flower horns are a fish that some people love and some people hate. But at the end of the day, there's a ton of people out there that are crazy for them, so we had to include them on this list. Flower horns are a hybrid fish that are selectively bred to exaggerate certain features in their bodies. Mainly their color, and the biggest thing they're known for, that big old nuchal hump. This is the giant ball on their head that people either love or they hate. And I think they're pretty cool, but I've seen some and I'm like, oh. Flower horns are fish that there are conventions held all around the world just to show them off and have competitions to see which ones are the best. And let me tell you, the people that go to these conventions love their flower horns. If you're not someone that gets turned off by that giant beach ball on their head and hybrids don't bother you, this is a really cool fish to keep. They're not the friendliest fish on this list, which is why you'll mostly see them in tanks by themselves, but you can't deny their uniqueness and personality.